Being able to draw characters in dynamic poses or just regular poses is one thing. Putting them all together in a coherent and harmonious group composition is something completely different. Hi, my name is CJ. It's been a while. A lot of changes have been made, definitely not against the wall anymore, but this video is for the Clip Studio Paint tip submissions every month, but I am aware that this might not qualify because I am going to be using an example from a few months ago, which I haven't talked about. I can't believe I haven't talked about it. I completely forgot about it. I can't exactly say what it was for. I'm not allowed to. But I will clarify a disclaimer that I am not the artist, the original lead artist for Batman Wayne Family Adventures. That would be Starbite. Please go ahead and follow them. Their art is amazing. I know they're working on some other projects at the moment, and I highly encourage you to follow them as well. The examples I'll be using are based on the comic and the style that the comic uses. So you'll be seeing a lot of Starbite style in the faces, definitely, but everything else honestly is just like the poses, the proportions, body, those are all mine. Everything under the backgrounds and assets, those are from Clip Studio Paint's assets. They're all amazing. I'm pretty sure you can find them on yourselves in the Clip Studio store. I usually like to have these videos structured a little bit more, but because I don't know if this video will qualify at all, I might as well just go off the cuff. So without further ado, this is how I did the group compositions on this little comic strip. Okay, so if the editing is working correctly, I should be on this side and I should be in a rectangle. So first things first, just to clarify, this is a pretty semi-long strip and the context of what these poses are for. Alright, so first things first, composing a group of people, whether or not it's in a comic sense or in just an illustration sense, it's usually pretty much the same. But I guess you have to keep in mind with comics is that you have to really emphasize the things you want to emphasize immediately, because I know that with illustrations you have a lot of time to like explore the piece, and of course you can do that the same with comics as well. But with the context that there is text, like here there is text, people will always prioritize looking at the text first, and of course a lot of things will disappear because of the text. A lot of things will disappear because of the dialogue bubbles, and honestly just the placement of the characters as well. A lot of blocking is your best friend. So, and sometimes you can even push it. You know how in 3D movies, like I noticed a behind the scenes clip that I saw in Encanto, where it shows a shot of Mirabel holding those two shards, but realistically they couldn't like do that. So when you look at the 3D model, it's actually really stretched out. You get my point. So the one thing you want to keep in mind with group compositions in a comic sense is, okay, one, where the dialogue will be, because in my process I usually like to plan out where the dialogue will be first, and then I adjust the characters around it. So in this case, originally the flow of this was backwards. Bruce was supposed to be here on the right, and then Harley will be in the left, because I wanted the reader to realize that, like, slowly come to the realization that Bruce and Harley are in the same panel. You go from realizing that Bruce is talking to Harley is talking, and they're in the same picture, and that's what I originally wanted to do. But I realized that sometimes the important thing is to get the dialogue across, so I prioritized this instead. My main priority was to show how comfortable Bruce and Harley are in this. Oh, and by the way, I'll link to the HD version of this so you can read it for yourself. It's not, again, I am not part of the comic production. This was just a task that I did. Not a task. This was something I did a few months ago for reasons I can't say. But I am not part of the production comic thingy above. Anyway, my main goal, always, again, context. My main context of this picture was to show, one, how comfortable Bruce is with Harley in his presence, and vice versa, because I wanted to draw the attention to like the cups and the boots. Honestly, the boots definitely are an asset. Oh, by the way, this isn't the original original file. The original file is like very laggy at this point. It's pretty big. This 3D asset was Clip Studio Paint Store. It's really good. It's supposed to be like a greenhouse. I just got rid of the glass, and this night sky and these leaves are also from the assets. So, yeah. Number 1, know what you want to draw attention to and highlight it as much as you can without obviously highlighting it. So I wanted you to immediately see that, you know, her boots are off and Bruce is in his slacks and his his shirt, and they're drinking tea, I guess. And then jumping off to just knowing the context of the dialogue. So it's almost been a year since I saw you, and boy does a gal got some updates. And I have Brucey here to back it all up too. Within reason, Harley. Within reason, Harley. To start. So this clues us into a montage type of context. So it transitions over into tada! All the boy wonders are doing great, especially the baby. Almost got him out of school too, if it weren't for this meddling bat. So we got a shot of the Robins. Well, the main Robins, I guess. So you already know the context. You can already tell what the context here is. They're all apple picking. I guess what I want to point out with this group composition is not to be afraid of using different styles in one group setting, because you can obviously tell Jason over here is in a very like tiny chibi form that Starbite likes to use, and Tim is slightly lesser. I wanted to show like 3 levels of perspective, because, well, one, I just wanted to show all of the boys in a single shot, and I'm pretty sure I overshrank Damien against, I mean, like, he's so tiny. He shouldn't be this tiny. Like, I know that his like height changes every now and then on the comic, but I know that this is like tiny, but it's cute and it serves a purpose. So, and the rain has returned. So I'll be right back. Let's wait this out, see what happens. Okay, I'm back. This is one technique that I like to use. I guess this works the best in a comic context, not so much in an illustration context, but you could try it out either way. I guess it just depends on what you establish as this style. I know I've seen some splash art that does this, like League or Valorant. Wait, no, not Valorant, no. But I think a lot of splash art and some marketing art does this maybe, but I can't be too sure. I'm just letting you know, as a comic artist, this is very doable, and I encourage you to try it. Next page, or next panel, I guess. So Bruce says, "Try not to do it again, please." And Harley says, "I will make no such promises. Besides, you got a bunch more stragglers to keep me in line, but even they grew on me real quick." So to anyone who's read the comic, this is a nod, but also this panel is a callback to the first panel at the very beginning. This is the same greenhouse model, and this is using again the same technique where I changed the style on, oh no, I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. But there's Duke, there's Cass. Oh no, I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. This is Orphan, and I forgot her name. But okay, they're all important. And I wanted kind of like to follow the line. I followed this direction of the stairs, but I also wanted to make room, because, you know, again, prioritizing the dialogue. I wanted you to go on an adventure reading the dialogue and then looking at the characters around it. And I wanted you to end on Duke specifically, because, and yeah, the context of, yeah, this is a greenhouse, they're all coming in. Using, again, the force, a different kind of perspective, because, you know, like what Leonardo da Vinci likes to do, when you look at the Last Supper painting, you know that this perspective doesn't make sense at all. But sometimes you can make this kind of perspective, or this kind of botched perspective, work with within the context that again, it is a comic, and it's a webcomic that specifically goes, you know, up to down. But this is something stylistically you could do in illustrations as well, as long as you draw most of the attention to the actual characters themselves. So you got all these characters, them all leading your eye to Duke, which leads you to these like wispy stuff, and Harley's background narration. This is less group composition, but there is something to learn from just having one element of a single person overpowering another person's like position in a group. Because here you have as for Mr. J, I got no idea where he's been or what he's up to, and I'm proud of that, but paranoia never goes away, you know. Of course you do. So I wanted to imply that she's talking about, well, she's not necessarily, Harley isn't necessarily talking about her, but I wanted to imply the existence of Punchline. Like, Punchline isn't in the webcomics as right now, from what I remember, Punchline isn't in the webcomic right now. But I wanted to imply that her danger is there, and that she's coming if the webcomic does do it. And they're supposed to be Joker's hands. And I wanted to imply that this is, if you've seen the Punchline issue, this is Joker's perspective through the closet. You can do a lot of these techniques where it's just, sometimes you can use a panel specifically to emphasize one part of somebody's body to like frame another person. In this case, because the text is also kind of like framing Punchline, it does that job. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for like using body parts as a frame in group composition. So next up, that trails off into, let's see, Sweeter Time. So, but we can't keep living in it, we have to go out. This, I think, is one of my favorite panels of this strip. So we have Selena, and then Barbara, and then Alfred, all in one frame. I wanted them to show, like, okay, I should probably mention this from the very beginning. So the main goal for this entire strip was to show several characters as a group just doing a certain activity together. And I wasn't supposed to like do an entire strip or something. I was only supposed to just do like a few illustrations, but I got ahead of myself and did that anyway, and made a little storyline. And I based the storyline on like summer activities or spring. I forget. Spring. So you got like hanging out in the cool greenhouse night, so apple picking, greenhouse planting. And now you have Selena, Barbara, and Alfred, the only reliable ones to like plan springtime activities. I was really proud of myself when I found the exact 3D object of Barbara's wheelchair in the Clip Studio Paint store. So I got it, and one thing you want to keep in mind is the direction of your eyes, or where you want to go, because I can't predict exactly where your eyes will land on this, but I am confident that your eyes will travel, because there's one thing where your eyes will follow where Selena or Barbara or Alfred are looking. But the thing is, Alfred is looking over there, so he directs your eyes towards Selena, and then Alfred's eyes direct you to Selena, who is taking a cookie from this platter, and then Selena is looking. Her movements are doing this, but they're also relaxed and straight and looking towards this, which leads you to Barbara, whose hands are here and is looking towards there, but also she also has her own cookie, and then leads you back to makes you realize that Alfred is also looking here, which leads you back to him. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be in that order. You could be looking at Barbara first and then completely different. The point here is to have certain parts of your character's bodies that circle around, that helps you guide the viewer's eyes, makes you assist them into looking around just to see what else they can look at, what else they can explore. Because again, this whole thing was never finished. I didn't get to like finalize this, so yeah, you are left to be able to see this asset, this bench asset. It's just there and transparent. I'm gonna leave it that way. By the way, I can't talk about how I approach copying somebody else's style, because that's, if you work in the comic industry, especially in the webcomic industry, and you're not the lead artist, you're not the one coming up with the style, you will have to follow like style guidelines. A lot of stories, a lot of comics provide style guides that you need to follow, and maybe I'll talk about that in another video not very soon, no, but sometime in the future I can do that. But for now, again, my main priority here is to establish the importance of group composition. And then we have, okay, find the people who really click with us. So we have Tim and Bernard, and then Kate and Montoya. So another goal I really wanted to do with this strip was to like do some nods, some Easter eggs, or some like implications as to the broader storyline of the Batman comics. So we got Tim, Bernard, Kate, and Montoya. Presumably like talking about kites and kite flying, or getting ready to kite fly. And with this group composition, I want parallels basically, and again using the forced perspective, having Tim and Bernard at the very back, and then Kate and Montoya in the very front, and not necessarily like facing them, but with the context of this, it just goes to show that the main focus here that I want you to see is, and I wanted you to immediately look at the kite and then realize that, oh, it's Tim and it's Bernard, and then that will cause you to like go down and realize, oh, it's Renee and Kate. So with that in mind, the goal here mostly is to like get them to mirror the girls at the front, but also to have their own little moments as well. Like I definitely wanted Kate to focus on Renee instead of looking back at the two, because that's what Renee is already doing for us, and I kind of want to do that, like that typical looking at someone you love so much, while the boys are just very, very excited on their kite date. And I also wanted to imply like the nod of Renee Montoya becoming the question at a later date, but not exactly overly saying that that's who she's going to be, or another version of her is the question. But so that's about it, I think. The ones that accept your roots and all. This one, Harley and Ivy, I wanted them to be very close to each other in a one. I'm aware how some proportions are could definitely use some work, but the goal here was to show them comfortable in each other's space, very comfortable, definitely not like Bruce and Harley here. There's a good enough separation from both of them, but Harley and Ivy, I wanted them to be very close and very very comfortable in each other's presence. I also wanted to use like their outfits in the animated series, the very old one, because I saw a screenshot of them, like Harley in her like white dress shirt, and Ivy using a very big t-shirt as well. The way I approached this is I decided that I wanted them to be on a couch first. So I found this couch asset, and then I did it in layers. I drew Ivy first as her own pose, putting Harley over her. I did it piece by piece because I also started adjusting Ivy as I worked on Harley. So it's a simultaneous, I guess, semi-simultaneous sketching of both of them. Like I start on one, and then while I work on the other, I start adjusting both just to make them work together. And if that's a parallel to their relationship, maybe it's purely accidental. Okay, the ones that accept you, roots and all, because they're the ones that'll help you grow. And I guess this is pretty simple. This is just a close-up of, this is supposed to be Harley's daughter with Harley's sister. I guess it's not much to point out here. It's just, I know that this isn't technically, again, the whole Encanto Mirabel shot. You could fudge a little bit of perspective, but it works. If it works, it works. If it serves the purpose, then it works. To grow and bear fruit that'll be better than you. I think this is one of the favorite shots I've worked on, because it shows a lot of things that are happening in the foreground that draw your attention first, or to some other eagle-eyed people, because again, most people are reading this on their phone, so it's like this small. But if you're eagle-eyed enough, the first thing you will see is Harley's daughter and Harley's sister. And then you may be realizing who this is. This is supposed to be... Oh no, I forgot his name as well. This is supposed to be John's future boyfriend. But okay, anyway, so I wanted this entire panel to focus on Damien, John, Harley's daughter, and John's future boyfriend, because I wanted to like nod to the future relationships in this group, because I know that there was a run where Harley's daughter, Damien, and John worked together, and then of course John and him end up together as well. But for now, I guess I wanted to show in this panel, I wanted to have the group dynamic to be by twos, and then just a single person, but not exactly like lonely. I just wanted to show the like this sort of pathway not converging, but connecting them all. So yeah. Also, I really like how this panel turned out. Let's see. Even if it's just for a little while, because even I know history's gotta repeat itself somehow. The way I did this is I knew from the get-go that I wanted to draw the future Batman and Harley's granddaughters somehow. So I made the script eventually go to the line of history's gotta repeat itself somehow. I made sure that this line was in here. So I had an excuse to draw the twins, and I also forgot his name. But I know these two are supposed to be enemies, and I thought it would be a fun thing to do a group pose for all three. And the context here is that they're supposed to be like Easter egg hunting, and the twins got them, but Batman, our future Batman here, is stuck being the Easter Bunny and keep chasing after them. Again, figure out your goal, figure out the purpose of your pose, and the purpose here is basically the twins are annoying the heck out of him, but also he is also trying not to be too hard on them. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched that movie. It's a very long while, like decades. Well, not decades. I'm only 29, but this is definitely, and just like the Harley and Ivy pose. I started with Batman first, and then no. Again, it was simultaneous. It was a simultaneous thing of drawing Batman and drawing Twin 1 and Twin 2, and again adjusting everything as it goes. But also, I did have reference for this. I know I had reference for this, but I don't exactly know where it is at the moment. Again, use your references. Do your searching. There are lots of free licensed websites for like, post references, and also Pinterest is a good friend. There isn't much. I think this is more like head empty, just draw what feels right. So I wanted to draw him in suffering and just them taking the shit out of him. But also it was fun. It was just a really fun a very fun piece to draw. So from that I go, but that's alright, because endings and beginnings, tomato, twins and beginnings. So it's just Harley alone, and then after that, after a beat, there's a clink, and then it's Bruce and Harley again, circling back to the beginning. But then you see something in the foreground. It's transparent and it's a very different style, and then it pans out to the animated show with the old Bruce and the old Harley in the foreground, apparently having been listening to this comic of Bruce and Harley talking the entire time. So, and of course I wanted to highlight this little meme. But anyway, that's about it. It ends on, in memory of Arlene Sorkin and Kevin Conroy, we wish you a warm, safe, and happy spring. So I wanted to show that mirroring again, a lot of mirroring. I love to do a lot of mirroring in my group compositions, and this isn't something I get to do a lot, foreground and background mirroring, because there's a lot of manipulation that you have to do. So I guess, again, if it doesn't serve as much purpose as you want it to, you don't have to do it. Again, I've mentioned this before in the dynamic poses video, that if it doesn't serve the context if it's only hindering your process, then you don't have to do it. But in this case, I knew from the very beginning that this is the last shot I wanted to end on, and this is, again, I guess, the last shot that I'm going to show, because it's pretty much the end of this video. I don't know how I'm going to translate this into like an article. Again, I just went off the cuff. I think I might make another video as well, because there's another topic that I want to try and discuss from the Clip Studio Paint monthly tip submissions. But other than that, this is what I got. It's been a while. I hope you're glad that I returned, sort of. If you like this video, please subscribe. That would be really, really cool and nice. You don't have to, but subscribing will be pretty cool. I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.